50. These are the young people whose energies, ideas, impetus, taxes that we need. It's not good if we're losing them in these numbers. Noah Khogali joins me, Conservative councillor and commentator with Young Voices UK. Hi Noah. I'm guessing this is already a conversation in your circles anyway.
Absolutely. I know plenty of people who have either moved or are considering moving. And whilst I'd love them to stay, and I encourage all young people to stay in the UK as much as possible, I think this is happening because there's a perception amongst a lot of young people that the social contract is now broken. They were told, go to university, work hard, and all of life's gifts will be bestowed upon you. But the reality is,
no one should ever have told them that in the first place. No, that's not true.
But that's the social contract that they kind of expected. They might be able to own a home, buy into their local community, all of these things which
work and build something. Yeah,
absolutely.
And of the young people you mentioned, and where are they going? What are their plans?
Australia is the destination for a lot of them, I think, and part of that I think is probably the weather and the way that they expect to live that life. I think the grey and the rain isn't for everyone on that front.
So and are they going with a career already starting under their belt, or are they going in order to find work?
They're going having worked in the UK for a few years. And then deciding that either it's in their personal life it's time for a change, but also that elsewhere has more of an opportunity to build the life that all young people want to build. And a big part of that, obviously, is owning a home and buying into the country in that way. And when people feel like that's never going to be something they can do, and house building is something that's been a hot topic in politics recently, for this very reason, then it pushes people away. That's something we need to be very wary of.
And affordable housing is absolutely an issue for the young, but housing more generally is an issue for absolutely everybody, because even if you're an older person sitting pretty in an 800 grand house, there may well come a point where living in that is unwise, and we should have a much wider stock of houses so that everybody can benefit from that. That's true. Do you think, we talk a lot, don't we, about the grey vote? We know that older people typically vote more than younger people. Is part of what you do politically and in your campaigning to get young people to be more politically engaged, so that the government of the day, whoever it is, really has to sit up and notice your concerns?
Absolutely. I think the key thing, though, that I do say to all young people is there's no point in just giving up, and that we do need to, speak loudly and speak our voice, and not overemphasize the housing point, but that's a really good example of one where young people potentially have fallen by the wayside, especially, and become a political force in our own right. Young people have been much more involved in the political system over the last 10, 15 years, but they can still do far more than that. And I do think it's encouraging that people are involved, do understand where these political issues affect them in their personal lives now and in the future. And it's something that I encourage all young people to really get involved in as much as possible.
So for you, housing is a massive issue there. What about graduate jobs? Is that a topic that comes up a lot too?
Yeah, absolutely. The graduation issue is one where people are leaving university expecting to not necessarily be able to walk into a job, but be able to find one, and are often struggling for significant periods of time. There are different things, I think, that we could explore to make that a little bit easier. But part of it is obviously the pure numbers of people going to university and potentially not coming out of it with necessarily transferable degrees. But
how much is that culture changing amongst young people, do you think? The idea that college or uni is an automatic thing, that actually getting a job or an apprenticeship, which is a job obviously, but getting a job or an apprenticeship or apprenticeship degree even, it is a more sensible way forward, that not everybody has to get an academic degree in X, Y or Z?
I think if you look at the job market, almost every single kind of entry semi-professional job now basically will require a degree, and somehow for an entry-level job also 5 years experience. That's something that I know a lot of young people have run into. And it's a challenge for all of them.
How can you call something an entry-level job and ask for 5 years experience? Because 5 years experience in a profession, you are no longer entry-level.
No, exactly. I agree. But it's something that young people have said to me, and I've seen in my own when I originally started looking for a job after uni.
When you said there, you say to people, you can't give up, don't give up. Have you ever tried to convince somebody to stay?
I think once people have made their mind up to go, they often do just go, and it's not something that I'll get too involved in their.
And there's nothing wrong either with wanting to experiences abroad as a young person. That we shouldn't be too po-faced about it. That that is a great thing to do. And if you come back, and not everybody does, but if you come back and bring those new experiences and that perspective with you, that can be it's almost always a fantastic thing. But if you're there's a difference between that, isn't there, looking for an adventure and thinking, I've got to get the hell out of the UK. That's a whole different story. Is it more the latter than the former in your experience?
Yeah, I think it is very much the latter. No, this isn't just a UK issue. We've seen, if you have a look at what happened in France over the past 6 or so months, and there was that meme about Nick, 30, who had done everything right, had his job that he had worked hard for, and didn't feel that the social contract was rewarding him in the way that he had been told it would, and that's forced a lot of, I think, thought in France about the way that the economy is structured, and it's something that is very much coming to the UK. It's very much here, and it's a conversation that's important that we have.
Are you staying with us, Noah?
Absolutely, I'm not going anywhere.
Good man, that's the spirit. Thank you very much. Good to talk to you. Noah Khogali, Conservative councillor and commentator with Young Voices UK. Good on him. Hannah's called from